My name is Diana Anthony, and I'm the Executive Director of Restoration Collective. We exist to educate, empower, and restore families that are impacted by foster care. I first learned about foster care in the 4th grade, and from that moment on, I knew I wanted to be part of helping the kids who were going unnoticed in the system. This childhood dream led me to the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services, where I was a caseworker for 4 years. I worked directly with kids in foster care and their foster families, and I also had the privilege to work with and get to know biological families of the children who have been placed in foster care. I learned that very often these parents have been through great trauma and hardships themselves. I was honored to hear the stories of these families and understand their present circumstances in light of their own childhoods. As a Christian working in the foster care system, I was excited to see churches become increasingly involved in caring for kids in foster care and supporting foster families. But I recognize the huge gap that exists in support and care for the biological families these children are removed from. Over half of kids who enter foster care will return home to their families, but there is a definite lack of support for these biological families. So we saw a great opportunity for the people of God to come alongside those families in a real way. Our vision at Restoration Collective is to educate, empower, and restore families that are impacted by foster care. We will be training foster families to come alongside biological families and step into this gap that exists. We believe that through relationship and mentorship, we will see greater success rates of children leaving foster care to return to their biological parents and remain there without additional intervention from the state. Most foster families don't even know the opportunity they have to meet their foster child's family. When a little boy was placed with my friends Megan and Brian, they were surprised where their foster care journey took them.
Well, this is our first time fostering. We'd never done it before, and the first time I interacted with this family was in court. As brand new foster parents, we're like, we don't know their story. We don't know what's going on. We think, oh, they've got to be awful people. For a child to be removed out of their home, gosh, I don't want them to know who I am, where I live, what I look like. I was kind of scared. That was my first impression, really coming from a place of ignorance, to be honest. I had no idea what it was really like.
Yeah, we weren't sure, of course, the outcome of this case, where it would go, but felt strongly like if there was a chance to adopt him, of course, that would be a good fit. And so we really were just feeling like this sweet little family was going well. And sure, he had his visitations a couple times a week, but for the most part, we had our groove going. And I was driving home with him in the back seat one day, and truly out of nowhere, and I can remember all the details around it, felt like I was punched in the gut and just heard, this is another woman's child. Which of course, factually, this is another woman's child, but he kind of felt like my child up until that point. I just thought, wait a minute, no, this is, we've got our group going, and then realized pretty quickly that this is another woman's child. And my job as just a stand-in mom right now is to do everything I can to prepare him to go back to her and prepare her to get ready for him as much as I can. His family embraced us, and it was no longer just, here's Benji, drop off for a visit, but they invited us in, fed us, sent us home with food. I did not expect to be welcomed by their family, and I did not expect to see such a vibrant family network there, because the narrative I had made was, there's no one else, they're alone, and that just wasn't true. And it began to shatter my assumptions and my arrogance about what was best for Benji. I thought he was best with us in the beginning stages, and I was seeing, as I was learning more about this story, that it really was best for him to be with his family's immediate family and larger family.
The day Benji went home was bittersweet, to say the least. We actually were in the courtroom hanging out with the family. It was a celebratory moment for them. But in the back of my mind, I knew, okay, I gotta give this kid away. And that was gonna be tough, but really, it was awesome to see how far they've come from a broken home to being reunited. And his dad told me it's like he has 2 dads. And he said, thank you. Thank you for taking care of my boy.
We believe that a gospel approach to foster care has to address all areas of the system. This means equipping the church to support biological families and celebrate reunification. We also want to support families who have adopted and kids who are waiting to be adopted. Our goal is to see kids reunite with their families, and we want to see those families thrive. And when that's not an option, we want to see kids be loved and supported in their forever adopted families. We would love for you to join us in our mission to partner with churches as they support biological, foster, and adoptive families to see a holistic gospel approach to foster care.